Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lara Barr. I'm the owner and founder of Emerging Educational Consulting, and I am also the founder of this amazing, inclusive parent community that is dedicated to the college application process and using that as a way to grow good humans. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining our April Ask Me Anything event. Today, I am focusing on myth busting, some of the most common rumors about college admissions. I have 7 different myths today that I hope to debunk so that I can help you have more accurate, clear information to make better and informed decisions for your kids through this college application process. I'm just going to dive right in. Hannah, before we get started, Hannah's going to be moderating today. Do you have anything you want to add to the group?
No, just welcome. Thanks for joining. If you have any questions throughout the live, feel free to use the little chat icon in the bottom of your screen to add them, and we will answer them. So there you go.
I think the other thing I want to add on your part is you're going to be providing some links to some of the things I'm going to be talking about. So don't worry about taking notes. You're going to have both a recording and access to any of the links that I'm going to be discussing today. So let's just dive right in. Let's see. Let me get myself a little organized here, and we will go. Let's go. Of course. In the US. There we go. Okay, perfect. Myth number 1, admissions decisions are solely based on grades and test scores. The reality, while academic performance is crucial, most colleges adopt a holistic review process. That means they consider various factors, including essays, extracurricular activities, letters of recommendation, and personal background. Holistic review is a comprehensive admissions process where admissions is looking at all sides of the students, not just those scores. Many people often will ask me, they'll say, what exactly are colleges looking for? And the answer is, we can find out, and it also is, it depends. And there's a little bit of a trick to finding this data. Parents and students can explore what colleges prioritize in the application by researching the common data set for each institution. To find this information, you can go to your Google search, put in common data set, the name of the school, and once you access that document, you can navigate to section C7 to see the specific factors that colleges are considering in the admissions process. This was one of our favorite tips and tricks that we find for students as they're beginning to create, like, how do I want my application to look? Sometimes it depends on what college you're looking for. One of my professional organizations, NACAC, put together a list of the top factors that colleges are looking for 2023. And it was actually really fascinating to see, because while the first 4 were around this idea of academic performance, the 4th factor on the list was actually related to strength of character. And I think that's important as we go into myth 2 is, I click through here, myth 2, here we go. Myth 2, you need a long list of extracurriculars. The reality is we are looking for quality over quantity, passion over superficial, and leadership and initiative matter the most. This idea of how we spend our days is how we spend our life. And if we know the 4th thing that colleges are looking for, then we're really coming to terms with the fact that that activities list is really going to be telling how students spend their minutes and how they're showing their character. So we really want to think about not just spending time on building multiple things on that list, but instead having that list tell a story. Our big tip around this is using value-based decisions. So we're actually going to provide for you in the chat a link to our values worksheet. We ask all of our students to evaluate their values so that they can reflect and make decisions on what extracurricular decisions they're going to be making, so that you can tell the story of the values when they're doing their writing, reflecting, and putting that activities list together. One of the things that I think about a lot in our practice is some of the students that come to us, for instance, who are going to play, let's just say soccer all through college, but they're actually not going to play soccer when they get to college. And so they spend all of their minutes with all of this, the stories around soccer, but there's really nothing else on their list that rounds them out in a holistic process. Thinking about those kind of decisions, this or that, are going to be pretty important in what the overall admissions team is going to see when they're getting down to those multiple applications. All right, myth number 3, only prestigious colleges provide quality education. I'm hoping that most of you here already know that. The reality is fit is more important than prestige. Finding a college that matches academic, social, and personal needs is crucial for success. We want our students to go to places where we want our students to have a list where every college on that list is a place that they would want to attend. And I think it's really important that we come to terms with the fact that we do have this cultural obsession with elite colleges. One of the most important books I think anyone could ever read in college admissions is Frank Brunei's book, Where You Go Is Not Who You'll Be. I think in that book, he does such a good job of critiquing this idea of this obsession that we have with elite colleges and the pressure that's placed on students to gain admissions to these colleges. And I think his overall argument is that this mindset overlooks the value of so many other colleges and perpetuates a really narrow definition of success, not to mention the stress it's putting on our students and the impact of mental health on our students' lives. So keeping an open mindset around college list is just a key factor in creating success. Myth number 4, you must decide a major before applying. The reality is many students enter college undecided about their major or change their major during their college year. I think we have some data somewhere that says 80% of students are going to change their major. Colleges really understand and they get this, and they're often providing incredible resources to explore different fields before making that final decision. Some students today, and some colleges today actually require students to wait to declare a major until their second year. The key here in the application process is just to demonstrate curiosity and a willingness to explore, and that really becomes more important than knowing a major. Now, with that said, it is important to understand that many colleges are asking students to write why major. We take that as more of an academic interest. If a student writes a why major statement, that doesn't necessarily mean they are declaring that major. Now, this topic can get complicated, and I don't want to, there are some nuances, but I think it's really important that we support our students in understanding it's okay to not know which direction they want to go at 16 or 17 years in their life, but that we do want them to be able to articulate their interests. Myth number 5, applying for financial aid will hurt chances of admissions. Reality, many colleges have need-blind admissions. The fact of the matter is, if you need it, we want you to apply for it. Seeking out and being aware of merit opportunities is a really solid way to access money in college. This is probably one of the most misunderstood topics in college admissions that I face all of the time with the parents in my practice. A lot of parents will be like, well, you help with scholarship, right? And of course, there are many scholarships that are out there, but the best way to actually access money is to have your student have a solid application that has them in position to be considered for merit money at the time of admissions. So merit money is financial aid awarded to students based on academic, artistic, athletic, or other achievements rather than financial need. It is separate than the FAFSA. So that is a distinction that I'm always trying to debunk that myth so that people understand the way they can have access to those funds. Let's see. I have to click back and forth between two different documents. Here we go. Myth number 6. Essays need to showcase extraordinary experiences. Reality. Admissions are seeking authenticity. We often say vulnerability. They're looking for genuine experiences, uncommon topics, and uncommon connections. Self-reflection and personal growth, the job of the different essays in the college application, each have their own role. There is the personal statement, which is the 650-word essay that is written that all colleges will likely see. And then on top of that, there are multiple other essays, including that why major, the why us statement, challenges I've overcome. I cannot tell you the relief our students feel when they hear that this is a giant myth, that they need to have some big, giant, extraordinary falling out in life to be able to get into college. That is just not the case. Many of our essays that students have gotten into amazing schools with essays about their shoe collection, essays about the books that they collect on their shelf, home essays about toggling between a ranch and city life. There's just so many beautiful moments. These students, they leave such incredibly beautiful lives, and it can be just the tiniest moment that can share so much about their heart. So we always try to encourage parents to remember that there's not like a one way to write this essay. All right, our last one, myth number 7. Letters of recommendation from alum or well-known connections will increase admissions. Absolutely not. In general, the reality here is valuable letters of recommendation come from people who can speak to the character, and that is really going to be teachers and counselors who are encouraged to write about depth and connection with their students. So if anything these days, extra letters of rec or special connections aren't seen as an asset after Varsity Blues. Admissions offices have done a lot of regrouping on what letters of recommendation should look like. Most of the time, letters of recommendation will be from a math teacher, a science teacher, and a counselor. And depending on if they're going to school for athletic, there can be coaches and things like that. There's often the opportunity for maybe one more. And during that time, we curate depending on what the situation is. So Hannah, I really just wanted to get through this as fast as I could. So we could really open this up for 15 minutes of questions. Do we have anything coming through?
No, not yet. So we can just kind of keep going with some of the I can ask you some of the common questions that we've gotten in the past and just expand. And then Just a reminder, if you're tuning in and you want to ask a question, now's the time. You've got Laura here ready, so you can throw it in the chat. I would say a question that just came through the other day was if a student doesn't have 10 activities on their activities list, what is that going to implicate with their application, if anything?
Right. Absolutely. 10 activities often can be seen as too many also. Like, can a student really do all 10 things? And I think there's some questions sometimes when students have overdone an application of, wow, is this student number 1? Are they well? Are they living a balanced life? Are there really that many minutes in a day for them to do all of those activities? And sometimes there's this idea, we talk to our students about this, of trophy hunting. Like, does it feel like just a little over the top? And does that have an impact on how admissions sees that student?
Okay, awesome. And if we don't have any questions, then we can just end it here. Thank you guys for coming.
That sounds great. Thank you, everybody.